Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez. Welcome back to another episode of Uncensored. We're going to continue with the Past the Wire series. We're bringing you the second half of that audio. I'm going to run the rest of this call now, and you can hear how he operated. He had no regard for territorial jurisdiction. He had no regard for anything other than him establishing something to make money in somebody else's territory.
Okay, there's a problem with that. I wanted to ask you about that right now, too, because Cisco's right down the street. I heard Cisco had went there before.
Well, if he went there before, then we don't want to touch that, but we do want to tap into
Your call may be monitored or recorded.
If Cisco's already went there before, then we don't want to touch that area, but we do want to touch West Covina. West Covina 13?
Right.
Yeah, if he's already in there, then we don't want to mess with it, but I heard nobody was over there, you know?
Yeah, well, it's his understanding, too, that nobody's over there. You know what I mean? Nobody really claiming nothing. But Homeboy has so much access, he's right there down the street, you know what I mean?
I know. But we don't want to bump heads with him, but let's go in there. Let's go in there if we can, but if he says that he already had that, then we'll back out.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Let's call him up. That way you tell him personally if you want to, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, call him up right now.
Okay, good on.
Hello? Is he there?
Yeah.
Hello? Hey, Zardo?
Yeah,
Zardo? Hey, this is the Carnal Tonito right here from Umax.
Mucho gusto.
Okay, now, hey, your homegrown criminal was right here. He just left to the state, and he was telling me about your area, that there isn't nobody tapped in over there. So, what's the deal? Is Cisco tapped in over there or what?
You know what? I don't even know, dog. I mean, I don't even know because from when I heard that you got a spot right there in Malvado, and I heard that came right there. But I'm been investigating.
Okay, well, look into it. If he's already there, then we don't want to interfere with that. But if he doesn't have nothing tapped there, then we want to try to get that we want to fill that up right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, not a problem.
And with the cyclonus too.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah, we'll check.
Huh?
Go ahead, say what you got to say.
I was gonna say, so can I just go start making a feta for Vato Town in Malvado?
Sure, but if they say that they're working for Cisco, then leave them alone.
Okay. So anybody else?
Yeah, anybody else, you can go ahead and tap. And if Cisco says anything, let's sit down with Cisco and let them know, okay, we'll back up out of that if that's his area, you know what I mean?
Here's a classic example of turf encroachment. He's been advised, Tonito's been advised that Cisco is already functioning in the area. That whole city is Cisco's. And Tonito says, well, it's okay for you to go in and tax other people as long as they're not with Cisco. That is a clear violation of territorial boundaries, right? And he was notorious for this, notorious for sending people into other people's neighborhoods and areas and having them taxed. And you're seeing it unfold here. You're listening to it as it's happening. He's trying to keep it clean by saying, well, if Cisco says that he has that, then we'll back off. But in the interim, go ahead and tax those people as long as they're not dealing directly for Cisco. And like I said, this is one of the major reasons he ran into jams later on down his career.
Okay. We ain't got no problem with that, because I know that's his area out there, and I don't want to step on his toes.
Your call may be monitored or recorded.
Hey, Tito, is he able to make this little issue though on your name? That's what he wants to know also, you know?
He wants to do what?
He wants to make a little issue, I mean, his own little issue, you know what I mean? For him and his boys or whatever, you know, set up shop or something. Are we able to do that?
Yeah, if you want to make it, some wrong stuff. Yeah, if you're making something yourself, yeah, all you got to do is say you're working for me, and then they ain't going to mess with you guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What I want to do is I want to put my homies to work and start making feta for you and me.
Right. No, yeah, that's cool. But long as they ain't working for Cisco and Cisco ain't already taxing them, that's cool. I ain't got no problem with that.
Okay.
Okay, and Back, you give him my hookup in the bay, so if he has to get at me, he can get at me in the bay.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
And also, Largo, when you write to me, use a Heina's name and make sure she uses the name on the envelope and on the letter. And then all she has to do is say, hey, I see Largo at the mall yesterday. He said hello, and I know it's coming from you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And don't use Theo in there, and don't send no regards to nobody else and all that. You know what I mean? They know that's third-party mail. Yeah, your homeboy, criminal, he just went up to the state. He got, I think, 4 years, so he'll be out too. And when he gets out, you know, I'm
Donito's explaining to him how he should correspond utilizing that informal gang code. Informal gang code is a manner of communication in which two individuals are predisposed to understand the underlying content, right? There's no algorithm for informal gang code. I mean, it doesn't have a code book or a method or systemic way to convert specific words into encrypted communication, right? It's more spontaneous. So when you write a letter, hey, man, I seen so-and-so at the mall the other day, you know, and it's a girl writing, supposed girl writing. Oh, yeah, I seen, my girlfriend at the mall the other day, and she says you're her best, and she says her girls are doing great, and they send their regards to you. This is all coded information. So Tonito understands that Pelican Bay IGI, the Institutional Gang Investigators, and OCS, the Office of Correctional Safety, monitor mail heavily. This is at a time when the short corridor program was in full swing, and they were jacking up letters left and right. So he's trying to prevent losing that communication and circumventing the security measures that exist there now. So I'm going to run this audio now.
up as well, you know?
Okay, hey, I have another homie too, named Louis. He got life. Yeah, he got life, right? And I want to start sending them dope. And then I want to start sending them dope, and I want to try to get him hooked up with you so he could, you know.
Okay, where's he at?
Right now, I think he's in a shoe.
Oh, he's in the shoe. Okay, when he gets out, hook him up and tell him to tell whoever the rep is on the yard that he's working for me.
Okay.
That's all we have to do, but make sure he writes to me too. I know his name's Louis, so if I get a letter, but make sure it's his Heina or some Heina writing to me and they just say the same thing, hey, Louis says hi, you know? Okay. And then I'll get back at him.
Here's a question. Do I need a license out here, like in there?
No, you just let everybody know you're working for me, but if you want me to send you a letter, I can send you a letter. That ain't no problem. But you let everybody know, if somebody wants to get at me, give them my name and number and tell them to get at me in the pay.
Okay.
Shit, that's your license right there. You got my name and number. Hey, I'm working for Tonito. He's right here in the bay. He said it.
So what they're talking about, a license, was huge back in the day. In fact, there are hundreds of camaradas that got hit over this, where Mexican Mafia members would write letters to sureños and camaradas, providing them with authority to do something in their name. Actually, a driver's license, right? That's what it was called, a letter of authorization. I think in the business world, we call it a memorandum, an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. So this is what he's doing here. And camaradas, or associates of the organization, would go around, do their business, and once they were approached, like, hey, what are you doing here? Or why are you taxing these people? They pop out the letter, I work for so-and-so. Kind of like their bona fides, right? And that's what Tonito is telling this individual here.
If you want to get at him, you can get at him. But, this is me right here,
Okay.
And don't mess with any Carnat's family members, you know what I mean? That's off limits,
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, I heard about you. Your homeboy criminal was telling me about you, so I was waiting for you to get out so I could get at you. I was going to try to get
Your
at
call
your
may
homeboy.
be monitored or recorded.
I was going to try to get at your homeboy Cholo. I was going to try to get at one of you guys to try to tap in that area right there.
Having just heard that admonition that your call is monitored and recorded, he still continues talking.
And try to fill it up,
Yeah, Cholo's busted right now, too. He's in Lancaster.
Okay, well, when you go at these guys that are selling drugs, pull them aside by yourself and talk to them with respect and let them know that, we appreciate if they can help us out a little bit, and if they need any favors, just to let us know. If somebody's bothering them or whatever, we'll take care of that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, approach them like you would want them to approach you with respect and dignity. You know what I mean? Pull them to the side. Pull them to the side by themselves so they don't feel intimidated or bullied. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And don't take a bunch of guys over there with you, you know? But let them know you're there for me, not for their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
Okay. If you have any other questions, let me know, and I'll answer for you right now. Or, you know, I should be down here a couple of months, so I'll get your number from a homeboy. You got a home number or you got a cell number?
I got a cell number right here.
Okay, make sure that you guys keep changing those cell phones because they be tapping those suckers, and even when they're off, they can record what you guys are saying. You know what I mean? So if you guys are meeting somewhere, leave the cell phones in the car and get out of the car and go for a little walk and talk by yourself. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. When you're in prison, there is no reasonable expectation of privacy, right? In jail, prison, even in the public, there's no reasonable expectation of privacy. And he's talking on a jail phone, advising these guys not to speak on their phones and not even have their phones present. He knows that there's a system called ITMS in the Los Angeles County Jail. ITMS stands for Inmate Telephone Monitoring System. And thousands of calls are fed into this data bank where they're stored, right? These calls aren't purged for a couple of years. So investigators go in and listen to these calls and pull out the calls that contain illicit and criminal activity, right? So it's kind of counterintuitive, really, for this guy to even speak on this when he's talking on a recorded line now. He's telling them, watch out for wiretaps. The feds can wiretap the phones. They can be activated even when you're not using them. So don't talk on the phones. Don't even keep your phones away from you. But yet he's blabbering on a recorded line.
Okay.
Because they got that technology now when even with your cell phone off, they can still hear your conversations in the car if you guys are just sitting there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, here's a question I have. Now, I got a couple camaradas that were inside with me that were helping me there, right? And now that they're here, they're sounding like I'm pretty much like getting them to sell dope for me, right?
So are they still inside there?
No, they're out. They're outside.
Okay, yeah. You can recruit your own little crew. I ain't got no problem with you recruiting your own little crew, but make sure that you recruit dudes that are solid and that they don't know they report to you and nobody else. They don't need to know about Blackie. You and Blackie are only ones that talk to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't need to know anything else. All they need to know is that you got the green light to run things, and that's it. You know, everybody doesn't need to know everybody. We need to be real careful about who we have in our crews. Now, you're going to pick your own crew. We trust that you're going to pick solid marcos. So those marcos don't need to know nothing else other than that they report to you, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I let them know. I let them know that if any problems, you know what I mean. We got the other.
And if I need to talk to him, I'll talk to him myself. If you got a phone number, we can hook it up right now. I'll let him know that you got the green light, and whatever you say, that's what it is, you know?
Yeah. No, they believe me. They were busting with me.
Hey, who was you working for when you was up in the state?
Who?
Was you working for one of the last
Your
up in the
call
state?
may be monitored or recorded.
Oh, okay.
So he's the one that was telling you about that over there in Iowa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Criminal told me you were working for somebody in the harbor area, but there's only 3 of us, you know, and I was just wondering if it was one of my other brothers, you know. But that's cool. No, that's cool right there.
Another point is that Tonito doesn't even know this individual, and he's pouring out all this information. Doesn't even know who the guy is. He's only been vetted through Blackie, which is his go-to guy on the streets. So, I mean, it's kind of indiscreet, if you ask me. I mean, I wouldn't be speaking like that to anybody on the phone. Not ever. In fact, I've never been caught on the wire. I have never been wiretapped. And I was around when RICO indictments were jumping. The only time I was ever caught during being recorded was at Pelican Bay during the end of my career, because they monitored visits. They're actually selecting specific visits to monitor, and that's the only time. But these guys, every one of their calls is recorded, and we just happen to have access to them.
We don't want all all we want is money orders or cash. We don't want no personal checks or none of that bullshit.
Yeah.
With the bottles inside. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, then, Largo. You take it easy and take everything slow out there and think before you act. You know what I mean? There ain't no need to rush into nothing. You know, and you know, do everything. You know, with the good thought in your mind before you do it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how old are you?
39.
29? Okay, yeah.
39.
Oh, 39. Oh, well, you've been around a block. You said 39?
Yeah.
Okay, you've been around, homeboy. You know what time it is, Holmes.
Yeah.
So, you know,
How much
Hey,
my pay?
yeah, just stay on the down low, Holmes. You know, whatever you do out there, you know, look out for yourself, look out for the people that are running for you, and make sure you take care of them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Then. Okay, Largo. Remember, write to me in the bay. You know what you could do is while I'm down here, just send a letter up there to the bay with an address, and make sure it's a Heiner that writes it, though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then when I get back up to the bay, I'll already have your address.
All right.
Okay, just send a Christmas card or something. I should be down here for a couple of months, you know. Hey, do you know how to hook up that speed and acid on the greeting cards?
What he's asking about, Tonito's asking whether he knows how to hook up speed or acid on the greeting cards. They're commonly known as happy cards. Happy cards are pieces of correspondence that are immersed in liquid LSD or methamphetamine. So he's asking him if he knows how to do it because he intends to receive some either there in the county jail or at the bay, and we'll hear the rest of that now.
On the greeting card? No, but, well, I could find out, though.
Okay, see if you can find somebody out, and if you do, use the name Ashley for acid and use the name Sarah for speed.
Huh? Say that again?
Use the name Ashley if you're able to hook up the acid, and use the name Sarah if you're able to hook up the speed.
Okay. Gotcha.
You know how to get the greeting cards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, but don't send me no birthday cards because these hooters know when my birthday is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Send greeting cards, Holmes.
All right.
Okay, Largo. You handle that and take care out there, okay?
All right,
Hey, is he still on the line? Largo.
Huh?
Is he still on the line?
Yeah.
Hey, Largo, see if you can find anybody in Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County, or San Diego that's in the county that can pull me down to those counties.
To pull you down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you know anybody in those counties, but, you know, we got camaradas all around, so
or recorded.
let's look to see if we could find some camaradas to pull me down to one of them counties. Okay. All right, then. Okay. All right, then. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Blackie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want you to do the same thing. These vatos that are in Ironwood or wherever we're at, see if they can find any camaradas or in contact with their homeboys on the streets, and see if they can find somebody that's in the county in Riverside, San Bernardino, or Orange County, or San Diego to pull me down.
Okay, we'll do it then.
Now, just try and do what you can. Now, if you're in contact with anybody in here, see if you can find any camaradas that live in Valencia, New Hall, or Santa Clarita.
Okay, Valencia, New Hall, and Santa Clarita.
Right, because we want to tap into those areas. There ain't nobody out there.
Yeah, okay. Hey,
See what I'm saying?
in Victoria, in Victorville.
Huh?
Victorville.
Oh, who's in Victorville?
Yeah.
Who's out there?
No, we don't know yet. Look, man, there's a lot of stuff going on over there, too. You know what I mean?
Well, go ahead and tap into that shit over there. I don't know. I don't think nobody's over there. But if there is, we'll just back up. That's all.
So, you know, we got a real good camarada over there. Remember,
Who?
Never meet him? Frankie from Torino. His name was Frankie Ficino. Frankie Ficino Center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, look. Go ahead and work with him.
Okay, well, I'm trying to see, you know, he was asking you about that. You know, there's a few knuckleheads that make it a skip people news, you know what I mean? But
We don't have nobody from Chino Sinners, but we do have Bevel with them. They did kill one of our brothers, though, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't specifically remember any carnal being killed by Chino Sinners. I remember a carnal Smokey from Pomona being killed by Cherryville. I think he's confusing this because there's only been a select few gangs that have really killed Mexican Mafia members, and I think he's got that mistaken. But again, you're seeing him making a mad dash. Remember the gold rush in the 1920s when people were running out the Southern Coast in California and staking their claim, literally driving a stake in the ground and claiming territory, their mine, right? That was their claim, right? So this is what Mexican Mafia members were doing all over California. This is in the early stages of the program. This is when the program's starting to get into swing, where Mexican Mafia members were running out to get territory. And remember, Tonito's from Wilmington, South Bay area, right? That's a specific organizational entitlement as it worked at the time. But here he is in West Covina, Newhall, Valencia, Victorville. He wants people everywhere, which is, I mean, it's smart. He's diversifying, right? If you look at it from a business sense, he wants as much territory as possible. So I'm going to run this audio again now for you.
No, I'm not talking as far as Chino. We have a real good camarada over there in Victorville. He stays over there, you know what I mean? And,
Okay.
yeah,
If there ain't nobody doing nothing over there that he's heard of, then go ahead and try to tap in. But if somebody says, hey, I'm already working for this guy, then back up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, hey, call this number for me real quick.
Yeah, what is it?
It's 626.
Who is this?
This is Sal from Bassett.
Okay, wait up, man.
This is cell phone.
Sorry, wait up.
The individual he's talking about is Sal Hughes, one of the big families in Bassett area. I knew Sal. I knew his brother John. I knew his mother Margaret and his father John. I knew them well. They're good people, and this is who he's talking about now. And I'll run the rest of this audio now.
Your call may be monitored or recorded.
Wait up, right?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Wait up, it ain't ringing.
It ain't ringing?
With that said, we've completed this call. I seem to recall that no further information is in this audio. He continues to make multiple efforts to contact this number with no success. But we've covered a lot of different topics in this one call, and this is the breadth and width of criminal activity from one member. This is one member already attempting to commit crime in 5 different cities, right? 5 different territories. But one thing you have to understand about conspiracy, right? They have entered a conspiracy, right? But that conspiracy isn't completed until they commit an overt act. So for the individuals who aren't learned at the law, an overt act is any act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So it might be fulfilled if he called somebody and relayed a message, like the first part when Trinidad Gonzalez, the individual Blackie, placed a call to Trinidad Gonzalez. That could have been in furtherance of the conspiracy. So there needs to be an act. So 2 people can talk about doing anything, anytime. We have the ultimate right of freedom of speech, right? But when you do something criminal with criminal intent and you enter a conspiracy, like say, we're going to go steal a bag of fertilizer and we're going to do that tomorrow. And yeah, we're going to make some money off of that. That's not a crime in and of itself, right? But if I say, well, I'm going to go look at the place and see if there are guards on duty, that completes a conspiracy. So some of you guys now have an understanding of what really completes a conspiracy and how people are indicted. So these calls actually are furtherance of the conspiracy, though each call is an overt act, right? Or an independent conspiracy by itself. Okay, with that said, I want to thank you for watching and listening to this episode of Pass the Wire. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share with a friend, leave a comment. Your participation is appreciated. All of you are the heart of this channel, and we thank you very much for your participation.